I want to start with a powerful idea, something that I think we all need to hear. No matter who you are or what you're trying to do, you are destined to win. I know, you might be thinking, what about all the times I've messed up, the setbacks, the flat out failures? Well, that's exactly what we're going to get into. I saw this comment online from someone playing a really hard video game for the first time. And it's so simple, so honest, it just kind of hits you, right? I think I'm scared of failure. That feeling is just so universal. I mean, haven't we all? That knot in your stomach before a big presentation, or maybe a final exam, or maybe it's a personal goal that feels like a huge boss fight in your own life. That fear is totally real, and it usually comes from this deep-seated idea we have about what failure actually is. Think about it. From the time we're little kids, we're basically taught that failure is the end of the line. It's the big, flashing game over screen. The game stops, the music cuts out, you lost. It feels like this final, permanent stop sign, something you have to avoid at all costs. But what if we've been looking at this whole thing completely backwards? What if failure isn't a stop sign at all, but more like a signpost pointing you in the right direction? What if it's not the end of the story, but actually a really important chapter in learning how to win? You know, that one little shift in perspective, it changes everything. And look, if you think this is just some nice, feel-good idea, let's look at the proof. Turns out, if you've ever failed at something, you're in some of the most successful company on the entire planet. Okay, so what is this? 5,126. Just a random number, right? Well, not exactly. This number represents the number of failures behind a revolution that's probably sitting in your house right now. Yep, that's how many times James Dyson's prototypes for his vacuum cleaner didn't work. Over 5,000 times. But see, each one of those wasn't an end. It was a lesson. It was a tiny step forward that got him closer and closer to the one that finally worked and, completely changed an industry. And he is so not alone. Just look at this list. J.K. Rowling got rejected 12 times. Oprah Winfrey was literally fired and told she wasn't right for TV. Walt Disney's first company went belly up. And Colonel Sanders, he was told no over 1,000 times. I mean, for most people, any one of these would be a dream-crushing, career-ending moment. So here's the real takeaway. It wasn't the failures that made them who they are. It was their absolute refusal to let that failure be the last page of their story. How they responded, their courage to just keep going. That's what built their success. It proves that no matter how many times you get knocked down, you are destined to win if you just get back up. Okay, so we've seen the stories, and they're super inspiring. But how does this actually work? In our own heads, how do we build that kind of inner strength? Well, the answer is in the science of resilience. It's all about forging your own mental armor. The first piece of that armor is something called grit. Now, this isn't just about trying hard. It's a special mix of two things: having a real passion for a long-term goal, and then having the perseverance to stick with it, no matter what obstacles get in your way. The second piece is resilience. And if you think of grit as the engine that's pushing you forward, resilience is the suspension. It absorbs all the bumps and shocks along the road. It's that incredible ability to not just survive a setback, but to bounce back even stronger, without losing your focus. And what holds all of this together is your mindset. So on one hand, you've got a fixed mindset, which is the belief that your talents are just set in stone. So when you fail, it feels like a final judgment on who you are. But then there's the growth mindset. This is the belief that you can develop your abilities through hard work. And this is a total game changer. Suddenly, failure isn't a verdict, it's just feedback. And challenges aren't things to avoid, they're chances to get better. So, let's get practical. How do we actually put this stuff into practice? How do you take a real-life loss, something that stings, and actively turn it into a win down the road? This is your comeback strategy. It's a simple 4-step plan. First, analyze what happened. Don't get emotional, get curious. What really went wrong? Second, accept responsibility. This isn't about blaming yourself, it's about empowering yourself. When you own it, you gain the power to change it next time. Third, go get some feedback. Ask people you trust to give it to you straight. And finally, the most important part, take action. Turn what you just learned into a real plan for what you're going to do differently. And remember, resilience isn't something you're just born with. It's a muscle, and you have to build it. You can actually work on it every single day. Practice self-compassion. Be as kind to yourself as you would be to a friend. Deliberately step outside your comfort zone, even in small ways. Acknowledge your feelings instead of pushing them down. And this one is huge. Celebrate the small wins. Every little victory builds your belief that you can do it.
So let's bring this all home. We have to completely rewire how we think about failure. It's not the enemy. It's not the opposite of success. It is an essential, unavoidable, and, believe it or not, an incredibly valuable part of the journey to success.
Winston Churchill said it perfectly. Success is not final. Failure is not fatal. It is the courage to continue that counts. Successes come and go. Failures will absolutely come and go. The only thing that truly matters, the one thing that defines your story, is finding the courage to get back up and try just one more time. Because every single time you fall, you are learning something. Every single attempt, even if it doesn't work out, is still progress. You're moving forward. Every loss isn't a defeat. It's a training session. It's forging you, sharpening you, and making you stronger for the win that is already waiting for you. So, I'll just leave you with this question. Think about that challenge that's on your mind right now, that personal boss fight you've been putting off. What will you face next, now that you know you're destined to win? Now that you know that every single try, win or lose, only makes you stronger and brings you one step closer to victory?